A. Falla, 50. And I think I was, 31 on 9/11. Working in the South Bronx, Engine 83. I was getting off of work that morning. I was supposed to go home after a 24-hour shift. And I was what's called the awaiting relief, meaning I was the last one to go home. The person coming in to take my spot was late, or not late, but not there yet, because I think our bells went off at like 10 to 9. Typically the shift ends at 9. And if you're not awaiting relief, typically your relief would be in around 8, 8:30. You'd go home, whatever. So I was kind of waiting to go home. Bells went off, responding to New York City, blah, 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 Manhattan for multi-alarm. Mike Clarney was driving the rig. I was in the backstep with Billy Martin and Dave Carpenter. And we had a covering captain, Captain Morgan, nice guy. Covering captain is not assigned to the house. He was there as a detail, just for the day. And he's just there kind of like, let us run the show because, we know the area sort of thing. So I was still young in the job. I was only had a couple of years. I think it was 2 years on the job at the time. And Billy and Dave had a couple more years than I did. And Mike Clarney was the senior guy. He was driving the rig. He was a chauffeur. We took the FDR drive down, which was kind of weird. No one looked at the actual ticket that prints out that we're supposed to look at where we're going to. And I think being with the covering captain and Mike driving, it was just head straight down to the trade center sort of thing, when we were actually supposed to report to what's called a staging area. And that's not normal. It's just the way they set it up. Large multi-alarms will have a staging area. And it could be, right next to the fire building. In this case, it was such a large area that they had a staging area at the top of Manhattan in Harlem by Engine 35's quarters. And we were supposed to report there, but no one really read the ticket properly. Now we're in the back of the rig, so we don't see the ticket. It's really the officer, the covering captain, Captain Morgan. Love that name, by the way. And Clarney, the chauffeur, was supposed to kind of read that and know where to go, but no one picked up on it, which is unusual. So heading down FDR Drive, sitting in traffic, bumper to bumper, sirens going, horns going, but that's like all over the city. So everyone's kind of stuck and you're just kind of waiting to get to where you're supposed to go. I guess they realized where they're supposed to go somewhere along the line, because we got off at like 34th Street exit and proceeded back north where there was less traffic going northbound, and up to Harlem where there was 5 other companies waiting for us at 35 Engine. And as soon as we got there, we get off the rig and remember saying, that's it, get back on. You're going right back down to the trade center. And all 5 companies took off. I think it was 5 or 6 companies. I don't remember which ones it was, but they were all at the staging area waiting for us. And shot down the West Side Highway. We could only get so far because of traffic. I remember parking the rig and we grabbed roll-ups, because when you're working in upper stairs, obviously you had to bring roll-up hose lines, or 50-foot lengths of 2.5-inch hose. Our Scott packs, whatever gear we had, gloves, helmets, and our roll-ups and some odds and ends, and started walking on West Side Highway towards the Trade Center. By this time, there was tons and tons of debris and smoke and stuff, so you really couldn't see what was going on down in Lower Manhattan per se. Just obviously a lot of activity, a lot of chaos, and I don't think any of us realized that there had been a full-on collapse of the first tower, the South Tower, by that time. I had been corresponding through phone call with a friend of mine, Matt Odell, who was giving me updates on the TV. I think he told me that there was a partial collapse of one of the towers, but I don't think anyone realized it had been fully down at the time, And so we're walking, and I remember, where there's a lot of firemen, there's a lot of activity. We're walking on West Side Highway now with our roll-ups, the captain. I think Killarney was there. You just parked the rig. I mean, you just left it in West Side Highway with other vehicles, emergency vehicles, cop cars, blah, blah, blah. Started walking towards the trade center with your roll-ups and whatnot. And I mean, I have a point of reference where the tower came down where we were, because there was this overhead bridge, like an arc, and I've got photographs of it. And we had just walked past that and under it. And I wouldn't say, again, I don't know how to really judge it, but I wouldn't say if the tower tipped over, if it would have hit us or not, which it didn't, of course. It just kind of crumbled beneath itself. But, you know, we watched it come down. We were close enough where it was scary as hell. And it happened so quick. I mean, it was within seconds. It was boom, 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 boom. And collapse happened in front of us. Debris came flying at us like a roller coaster, very fast. And the captain's like, drop everything and run. So we dropped everything and just kind of started going backwards. You know, I guess, you know, we have gear on. You know, we carry like 100+ pounds of gear: bunker coat, bunker pants, Scott pack, gloves, tools in our pocket, our helmet, the roll up just left on the ground. So we weren't moving too quick, you know. Engulfed by the smoke and the debris. Not debris in the sense where things were hitting us and hurting us, just more like thick particles and, you know what I mean? Just nasty stuff coming at you, kind of just, but pure whiteout and blackout. And I remember saying to the captain, we got to go back in there. We got to help, you know. And he directed us to go in. We started walking towards, and we're covered in white, covered in stuff on our face, hard to see, hard to breathe. Didn't don our Scott packs because they only have like a working time. Like the bottle in the back would say 45 minutes, but you actually get like 6 minutes of work time when you're breathing hard. So that's typically what you'll, you know, do in a first, you know, if you're a regular fire, you'll put your mask on, you'll go up in the building, you work for 6-8 minutes of high intensity, breathing heavy, you're hyperventilating a little bit, and you'll run that thing down within 6 to 7 minutes. And it has a vibro alert that'll let you know when it's getting low. And that's when you're supposed to exit, change the bottle, and go back in if you can. So we didn't wear a mask because of that reason. You're kind of waiting for like the real shit to hit the fan for go to work before you'll don your face piece. Basically went, you know, walked up to the site because we weren't that far away from it. And it was just, I remember thinking this is like Planet of the Apes movie, you know, just something out of a movie. It was just incredible. There was nothing left. There was some variants of blue skies, smoke everywhere, and quiet, you know, very quiet, eerily quiet. There was 7 World Trade was on fire. It wasn't down. There was no semblance of any towers left. There was just destruction. There was some people running around. There was no organization at that time, but you started to hear transmissions come in from officers. And I remember specifically hearing the voice of the captain from Rescue 3. And I forget his name off the top of my head. I know him, but I remember him saying, he kind of just started leading the charge, you know, on rescues and trying to get organization going. He was a captain, but I don't think he was working. I don't know, but I remember Ralph Tuso, I think it was. And I remember them saying, you know, so-and-so battalion or so-and-so company, or Ralph Tuso, you know, blah, 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 where are you? And things like that. So that was the transmissions going on, which is not normal fire department talk. You don't use someone's name. So it was kind of just mayhem all around. I do remember one other thing too. While we were riding down, and I guess it was after the first tower fell, I remember hearing some lady come over the department radio screaming. She was a civilian, and that we need help and this and that. And it was just odd to hear that transpire as well. I remember that, what stuck out in my mind. Civilian come over the department radio, like basically talking to the dispatchers. You know, it was very weird. Never heard that ever again, ever since. It was that one time. We operated all day till I think we at some point left our Scott packs. We had no Scott packs. We had no facial. We had nothing to breathe with. We did get throughout the day, we'd get our eyes washed out by the Red Cross was on site. We're still covered in, you know, shit head to toe. And, you know, throughout the day, we did different things. I remember grabbing a hose line, stretching a hose line for building 7, but it was kind of a moot point. There was nothing I could do. It was just myself. You know, Billy and Dave helped take down a lieutenant, I think it was Desperado, who had perished, and they removed his body from an upper level. Them and some other members. And I don't know what happened to Captain Morgan. I mean, he was there and he wasn't there, and I guess we met up later. But I mean, it was just a long day, you know. I remember throughout the day getting our eyes washed out by Red Cross. At some point during the day, we might have gotten like the Red Cross may have brought like little face masks, you know, for our nose and mouth, kind of like what people are wearing now, like little surgical ones. But I don't remember, you know, I just remember having a hard time breathing all day, just nasty, and, you know, just kind of there was fires burning everywhere. It really was kind of Planet of the Apes kind of scene, you know. It was just really kind of devastating, you know. So we worked until about 1 a.m. When we were told to go home. We got back at like 2 or 3 a.m, and no one had known what happened to us. My cell phone had died, so I couldn't call anybody. I had a dog at home. I had to reach out to my girlfriend at the time and ask her to go to, she lived in Brooklyn and I lived in New Rochelle. I asked her to go to the house and get my dog because he needed to go to the bathroom and get walked and get fed. And I think she did that. But no one had heard from me all day until I found, we did that by finding a payphone in the lobby of one of the buildings that wasn't fully destroyed, close to the west side of the Manhattan there. I remember that happening. I remember when we got back to the Bronx, the South Bronx, where we worked, there was guys in the street. They had no idea if we were, you know, if we'd survived or not, you know. And that was kind of emotional too, just guys hugging and stuff. I was supposed to be working that night tour. So again, I was getting off at 24 in the morning, going to go home for a little while, rest, and come back that night. So I was officially supposed to be back on work, and I had no idea. I was like, I guess I gotta work, you know. So I went up, had a quick shower, and I went back downstairs. Again, I'd been up for hours, was exhausted, and you know, someone said, "Listen, don't worry, we got you covered. Just go take a blow and get some rest." And I remember falling asleep in the chair in the TV room, you know, dressed and stuff like that. So, and yeah, I mean, that was the day for me, you know.
And after that day, how much time outside of your shift were you spending at Ground Zero?
I spent a lot of time. Unfortunately, it wasn't my choice. I was a junior guy in the firehouse, and we'd gone down there a couple of times after, like right after 9/11. So that was a Tuesday. I think we went down a Wednesday or Thursday of that week. And then another time I went down with one lieutenant. I went down with some other lieutenant, basically for search, you know, and rescue. We didn't do much of that. We just kind of, I mean, there really wasn't, it's really a heavy machinery kind of ordeal. You know, they had to get organized and come up with some ideas on what needed to be done. But at that point, the fire department decided to create 2-week shifts, deployment, to get members down there for digging purposes and, I guess, recovery at that point. I remember the House voted on it, and they voted me to go down first, which pissed me off a lot because I just went through an ordeal. And even though I was junior, there was another guy that was the same time as me, and he got a pass. And I don't know to this day why. I didn't want to go back down. I'd seen enough, but I had to go down first. And I spent 2 weeks down there with guys from different companies and a different lieutenant. And we basically just dug and searched and did bucket brigades, you know, pulling debris out and passing it along to the next guy, passing another bucket out, took bodies out, you know, just searched a little bit, just things like that, you know. There was one thing I remember the first day that was kind of interesting. So, and I really could really explain it. Like there was no office furniture. There was no computers. There was just hard packed, like rubble, you know, like compounded dust, like to the point where it gets like very hard and compact, like item 4, if you're doing a patio, you pack it down and they wet it a little bit and it just becomes like hard like concrete. It's kind of like that. I mean, it was just all papers, a lot of papers. You're stepping on papers, and there was no desks, there was no furniture, there's no chairs, there's no computers. I remember a woman's hand sticking out of the ground, freshly painted fingernails, which kind of bothered me.
How's your health today, Paul?
I'm okay. I have asthma, which I didn't have before 9/11, but there's a lot of little things that, so there's weird stuff, right? Like, have a hard time swallowing. You feel like you're choking on food sometimes. It's kind of weird. And from talking to guys, like a lot of guys have this, itchy skin. The asthma's not that bad. I mean, I take medicine for it, but I can still run, still exercise. I'm not like gasping for air. I have times where I do have a hard time breathing. I've got to do like a treatment, or like I have a machine that helps me, like a breathing treatment. They'll do that sometimes, a couple times a day to help me through it. But other than that, it's not too bad. I get sick a lot. I get bronchitis all the time. I get pneumonia, well, at least once or twice a year. Yeah, I mean, that's just, I feel beat up all the time, body's achy, and I don't sleep that well. I mean, I sleep okay. I mean, but I've got to wear a breathing machine because I have sleep apnea now too. GERD has been a problem more than I think. I just came back from my fire department medical, and they want me to get checked out for a couple things. My breathing stays okay, which is good. And I take, like I said, a regular inhaler steroid or something once a day in the mornings. It's supposed to be a 24-hour medicine. Got my rescue inhaler, and like I said, I got the machine once in a while when I need to, when I have a serious treatment, if I'm having a really hard time breathing. But like the GERD thing is weird because as of late, I've been having these issues where I feel like my heart's pounding, I have a hard time getting a breath, and they think it might be a GERD something with GERD, affecting it. I'm not sure. It almost feels like I have like a abnormal heartbeat, and it could be sitting resting, and I just feel it, and I was like, well, I can't get a breath now. It's one of those deals. It's kind of weird. So other than that, I mean, yeah, I mean, I've been beat up on the job. I had a back surgery, 3 shoulder surgeries, lots of surgeries. So throat surgery twice, once in my throat, twice in my nasal to clear up polyps and all that. I had that done in 2003 before we even knew it was related to 9/11. So.
And the other injuries, were they 9/11 related or different?
No, I hurt my back early on in the job, carrying a lady up flight of stairs in a wheelchair. She had like 15 gold chains on. She was like Mr. T's wife, and the elevator was broken in Harlem. We had to carry her up the stairs. It was brutal. Fell a couple times, hurt it again, fell through a floor, hurt it again. And that's when I initially retired with my lower back problems. I had surgery in 2006. And the fire department was like, you're never going back to full duty after having back surgery, so you're done. And then I was also seeing Dr. Wyden for my lungs at the time. And he'd done testing and said, listen, if you weren't getting put out with your back, I'd be putting you out of the job with your lungs. They're not good enough for the job anymore. So either way, I was going out, But
how old were you when you had to retire?
It's 39. It's almost 40. Yeah, 39. Yeah, it was kind of funny at first, what do you do for a living? I'm retired from the fire department. Retired? You're so young looking. Yeah, that's the outside. The inside's all banged up,
How about PTSD? It seems that anyone who witnessed what you witnessed would have some PTSD.
I have never been diagnosed with it. I know that a few of us have struggles and some demons. I think we all have our demons. I think it's hard to deal with them, and we all deal with them differently. See, I've always owned a business along with the fire department, and I still run my business. It's not a big business; it's small, but we do a few hundred, 300,000 a year in sales. And I focus on that. I try to stay positive. I try to work all the time. I surround myself with things to do, and not dwell on what we've been through in life. And I think I get through the day okay. I've got investments. I've got 2 houses. Got lots of ideas on how to be successful, and I try to implement all of them and try to make some stuff happen. So I stay very busy. I think when you retire young and sit and do nothing and ride around in a golf cart all day, you're asking for problems.
How did that day, obviously health-wise, it changed your life. How did it change in any way how you live your life or look at life and death?
Well, I don't know many people that I'm close with that has seen as much death as I have, or the guys that I worked with, and the amount of funerals and wakes I went to were just, and memorial services were just, for one solid year. That's all I did. I put all my side work on hold. And my life was basically going to the firehouse, and then when you were off, you went to funerals or memorials, and it was 2 or 3 a day, every day, for a year. So I think that if it was up to me, I want to die flat broke. I want to enjoy everything I've earned in my life. No one gave me anything. I've earned everything, and I mean that sarcastically, of course. But like I look at so many people and how cheap people can be, and I think you have no idea. You can't take it with you. You know, I think that tomorrow is not a given for anyone, right? No one really realizes what's coming. It's just a cliche, but I do try to live my life to the best I can every day. But some days I just want to sit down and relax and not do anything, just kind of beat up. But I'm okay. I mean, I think that I try to stay positive, try to keep moving, and try to do my job, my business. Try to go to funerals when there's a line of duty death. I still try to do the right thing, stay kind of affiliated with the fire department. Been 12 years, been a while, 12 and a half almost, 12. So yeah, I mean, yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's changed my life. It's something I went through. I don't talk about it much, People closest, no. But I haven't really shared much about the whole thing with many people. So keep it kind of myself.
Is there anything else you want to add?
No, no, that's fine. I think that's all I really want to say.
Okay. I thank you. I really appreciate it. I know it's difficult. It's important. I really appreciate you participating, Paul.
Thanks.
Okay. And
Thanks for having
stay
me.
safe.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.